Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Easy Does It, a podcast created specifically for the members of the NJ team. Mark and I are here today to kick us off on episode 62. I cannot freaking believe it. And you guys probably can't believe it because it's just me and Mark today. Meredith is on vacation. We wish her well. We hope she's having a good time. But we thought it'd be a good idea to keep it rolling. And we're bringing back one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, Mr. Mark Cagle. What's up, Mark?
What's going on?
What's up?
Hey, there we go.
Let's freaking go, dude. I'm excited. Meredith and I were talking. It's like, who would be a good co-host? And so we went back and forth, and it was like, Mark would be a good one for this one.
We'll see.
Yeah. Dude, you were back here on like episode, I think it was 25. I think it was episode 25. We were a little bit in, and we got to know a little bit about your story, but I think it'd be cool if we just kind of like, just low key, just talk about our journey and stuff like that. But
yeah, for sure.
Dude, I was going back, and you were the first person that came on that we were like, hey, give us 5 songs, and you gave us like 37. And I went back and I listened to a few of them. Korn, good choice.
Of course, yeah.
But I have to like...
You took notes?
Well, I wrote this one down because I knew I wasn't going to remember Mexican OT, Hardest Essay.
Hardest essay ever.
I went back and listened to this song yesterday, and I was just dying. Like the beginning starts off, I was like, "What is this?" And then it just hit, and I was like, "Okay, I get it. I get it." Dude, the thing was dope.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah, you still listen to good old Mexican?
Yeah,
Mexican
he actually
OT?
just released a new song. I don't remember what it's called, but it came out 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Did he really?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I know you like music. I was going to say I've gone back and forth. You introduced me to Sleep Token, and I can't stop.
Yeah,
I can't stop.
What's that band you just introduced me to? Cynthia?
Synestia, I think, or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
So good. If you guys want to get a little hardcore, that's the one to listen to.
Oh, it's pretty heavy.
It's so good.
Now I'm real heavy into a band called Animals as Leaders. It's straight instrumental, just the most ridiculous progressive music, but there's no vocals whatsoever. It's good working music.
You like that kind of melodic, that kind of stuff.
There's nothing melodic really about this.
No.
Very technical, yeah.
Oh, interesting. You have to show me that one.
And Big X the Plug. I've discovered him in the last 6 months.
I just randomly, I think Sam sent me Big X the Plug one time. And
which one? Big Sam, Little Sam, Medium Sam?
Well, since larger Count Chocula has left, Medium Sam is now Big Sam. Sam Pace, I'm sorry to say you're still Little Sam. Yeah. Little Sam. So Big Sam, okay. Sam Hagee.
Got it.
She sent me that one day, and I was at the gym, and I was like, okay, I kind of like this. It's my jam.
Yeah.
Hey. Dude, it's so good, man. I just like listening to the story. I'm along for the ride.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
While I'm doing curls for the girls. All right, Mark, you have taken the spot of good old Would You Rather. What do you got for me today?
I hope you're ready for this.
I'm not, dude. I'm a little nervous.
So here's what I don't have. I don't have all the Would You Rathers that y'all have done memorized or categorized. So
I don't either.
Okay. Hopefully.
Just go for it.
You haven't went. All right. Would you rather have everyone you know be able to read your thoughts or have full access to your internet search history?
We've asked this one.
Have you?
No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Read your thoughts or internet search history.
Right.
I think they would probably be disappointed with the internet search history because it's typically going to be a lot of sales stuff. Like Heather walked in my office today. I was trying to eat real quick, and I had my phone on, and I was listening to something. She's like, what do you listen to? I'm like, sales training. Boring. I think I would be okay with the thoughts. I think that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Scary. And it would just be nice because everybody would know where you stand, I guess. I think I'll go with that one.
Okay.
What about you?
So I went back and forth on this. So I've said this for a long time. When I'm dead and gone and somebody goes through my internet search history, they're going to be like, this guy definitely has ADHD. He researches the most random stuff. He does love music.
Yeah.
And he struggles with spelling common words that he should be comfortable spelling.
That's so true. It's so true.
Tree. Not that basic. But I don't mind the internet search history thing. I really don't. But I do think that I am about 75% there with just saying what's on my mind anyway. Yeah. I'd be okay with that too.
You know, I was talking to somebody the other day, and it's like there's some people that often care a lot about what other people have to say, or they say something and they care about, you care too much about what you say. And so you just kind of keep it to yourself or mince your words, not say what you want to say. And I said, I was thinking, where would Mark be on the not carometer 2? Because you do care. You really do give people good feedback and you're honest with people. But I think at the same time, it's just like, I'm just going to tell you like it is. And I think that's what people appreciate about you.
I hope so. Yeah. What really bothers me though is when people create my intent that doesn't exist.
Sure.
Where they just take my words and they're looking for, what's in the middle of that, or what am I really trying to say? I'm saying what I want to say.
Yeah.
So I think that's I'm gonna go back to the would you rather. I'm gonna choose read my thoughts.
Yeah.
Just that way they know my intent is my intent.
Yeah. It just gives you the extra 5% that you don't know, because you pretty much tell everybody how you do feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might get committed.
Huh?
Committed to like a 7th floor or something.
You could.
No.
Elon, I think it was Elon Musk. He said we're probably 10 or 12 years out from having like the AI integration that you can put a chip in your brain basically. Mm-hmm. And whatever you think can happen. Like you think about, I wonder, how do you spell the word tree? Like you said, and it just pops up. Or I wonder what it would look like if we were to fix this rocket ship and make it be able to do this, and AI will be able to integrate with your brain and you're able to think about it at the same time.
Yeah.
I thought that was wild.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that.
No?
Nope.
You wouldn't want AI to be up in your brain?
I don't. I think I'm at a point in my life now where I'm leaning more towards simple. I saw something the other day. It was a comment on a video, and the first comment was like, "That's it. I'm buying me a flip phone tomorrow," because things have just gotten so wild. And the last episode, or the only other episode I was here, we were talking about AI, and my explanation on that was so simple. Now I went back and listened to it a few months ago, and I was like, how naive I was on what my comments were, because AI has completely taken what I said about like just predicting and everything else. And now it's to the point where you can build massive training programs. You can really do anything that you want to do through AI. And it's wild. I don't want more of that up here. I have enough of it at my fingertips.
Well, it's interesting if you use AI or you use even if you go simple and it's just like, I need to know how to spell this word, like inconsistency. My worst one is receive. I can't spell receive to save my life, but I'll like go to type it in and I'm like, which one was first? And it'll fix it for you. And it's just ruined I can't spell to save my life now anyway. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's just made it worse.
Honestly, man, I feel like it's accelerated some learning for me. Mm-hmm. I like collaboration and I like big ideas. So throw a couple thoughts in there. Here's where I'm at. I want to pull from said text or whatever. And it's throwing some stuff out there. I was like, wow, I've never thought about that perspective, that point of view. And I'm grabbing it and I'm putting my own words into it now. So the interview class that I do teach, the next session is going to be unlike the other sessions that I've done, because I've completely morphed it into a more enhanced version. Mm-hmm. And AI has been a big part of that.
How do you feel? So using AI as a tool, how do you feel like the balance is keeping it more analog? Like I'm going to go buy a flip phone and using it to benefit you.
I don't know what you just asked me.
I mean, like, think about it. It is so nice going analog. Like I'm just going to go out in the woods and I'm going to sit on my front porch. Like, how do you take, like, I want to keep it basic so that I can still be my authentic self and then still be able to balance using technology to, like, advance stuff and, like, get better and educate myself?
To me, the tool part, and I'll talk about the tool part, it's the copy and paste and send. That's where, to me, it's unhealthy and it's probably not, it's definitely not authentic. Right. To me, it's like, let me really just process this. Let me sit on this. I'm a reflector anyway. So, and I see things and I can draw comparisons between things. And I'm like, that's not really what I'm looking for. Let me reword this. Yeah. Or sometimes I'm like, this inspired me to add this to my search. And now, I don't know, I think the tool there is very special here at work. Right. And in areas where I need to apply bigger thinking, or we need to apply bigger thinking. As far as like the analog side and the looking towards that, that's just for me, that's just being in the moment and just having gratitude with the way my life is now and the health of my family and our current, situation that we have, to where it's just like at work, bring it on. Give me all the information and the tools, and at home, let's just be a little quiet.
A little more analog.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'd be cool even today just to kind of explore that. Like, you and I have been here for a long time, about the same amount of time, and we've seen this place grow and change over time. And I almost think about the days of old when we first got here, super analog.
Yes.
And I think it'd be cool to live those days a little bit and talk about the progression over time, both the company, and I think it'd be cool to talk about our journey a little bit of where we're at today.
Yeah.
But all that just reminds me of even back in the day. Like, do you remember we used to call into dispatch, and you had the Nokia, or not the Nokia, the Nextel, the little Nextel phones, and you had to call in our notes over the phone to dispatch.
So I was lucky. I never had to do that.
Oh my gosh, it was awful.
So this past Sunday, I hit 14 years here at Morris-Jenkins, and when I got here, I was handed a laptop, a Samsung flip phone, and there was a printer right here.
Oh yeah.
So if you hit a bump, you had to make sure you had strong neck muscles because you was about to get a concussion. And these were homemade sheet metal boxes, just zip screwed to the back of the cage. And I think I was probably a year out from having to call in notes, so we were a little bit more advanced when I showed up.
Yeah, I remember living in the dinosaur age. I know you probably didn't see that piece. It was probably on the tail end. There's probably some trucks still getting transitioned. I just remember I remember calling into dispatch, talking to Barb or talking to whoever, and you used to call in all of your follow-up notes, and they'd be like, sounds good. And you would just walk them through exactly what you did, what you checked, what you changed. Yeah. And I feel like there was some cool factor to that, because it's like I'm walking my team through what this call was like. And even still, like, I think about the map books we used to use to drive around. This was still before we had the TomTom and the GPS. And I remember you had to know Charlotte pretty well. And if you didn't know, you had to pull over and look at your map book and figure out where stuff was, figure out where your customer was. But I feel like you had a good measure on, like, where things were in town, what type of neighborhood I was going to, as far as, like, what was the cool factor in the neighborhood. Some neighborhoods had lakes. Some of them had, like, it was more of like a family, like everybody's got kids running around. And I feel like that always helped me remember things, but I felt like I was more in touch then. And as time went on, it was just like, where am I going? I don't know about you, but I sometimes, like, if I don't have my GPS, I'm gonna get lost.
Sometimes.
Every time for me now. I used to be able to drive one place and then be like, oh, I remember where that is. And I'll just go back. Now it's like, where are we going again? We going down the road? And I'm like, And then if it cuts off, I'm like, crap, I can't remember where we're going. My wife tells me all the time, we're going this way, we're going that way. And I'm like, it's all going away.
No, anywhere local, I'm usually pretty good if I've been there once.
Yeah.
But it's a little nerd fact about me. Anytime we go to a new city and I know we're going to that new city, I study the map.
Do you really?
I do. I'm just fascinated with maps. I don't know why, and things. And we went to Boston a while back, and I'm like, we got to walk up here. Here's the Freedom Trail. Here's the hotel. We're gonna go down 2 blocks, and we're gonna turn up. Sarah's like, how do you know?
Yeah. And
I'm like, well, I've been studying it for a month.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go to Bova's Bakery up in Little Italy or whatever they call it there in Boston. I was like, but we got to drive there. It's a pretty long walk.
Yeah. If I go to a town, I'm pretty good at navigating. It's just, I'm going to pull up the map and I'm going to look at it.
Sometimes. Yeah.
It's easy for me to be able to figure out where we need to go, but I'm the same way. Like, I want to understand what it's going to look like, where things are at. It makes it easy. But times change.
Yeah. You were making the comment earlier about you had to call in, you talked to Barb. I never met Barb. So Alex, Kegel, what you got? I had to call him and tell him I was finished. And when I went to evening shift, we didn't have nighttime dispatchers. You had to call into the contact center. And that's where like Cedric in accounting, he was in the contact center. He'd dispatch your next call, whatever the time windows were then.
Yeah.
But just thinking about that, having to relive the notes and retell the notes, it probably made you a lot more intentional on the calls, to where I know I have to remember this, and I have to be very intentional with everything that I'm checking.
Yeah.
Because I now have to go relay it, and maybe, I don't know, I didn't live it, if Barb asks a question and you didn't have the information, it's not a good situation.
Yeah.
It's not the best experience for the customer.
Yeah.
And you're not setting your teammate up in the future.
No, that's right. What do you feel like when you first came here, reliving that a little bit, what was it about Morris-Jenkins that you felt like stood out to you that was different from where you were before?
So I was at Sprint Nextel. I was there for about 6 years, and it was corporate. And if you know the term planogram, you know what I mean. It was just retail. It was corporate. I was able to run meetings with the teams on Friday mornings, but my meeting came from an email that I got on Thursday and said, here's your meeting content, and this is what you're teaching.
Yeah.
Because this is what's going to happen over the next week. I was 100% a number, just like everybody else there, to the corporation, essentially. When I came to MJ, I sat down with Jonathan Bancroft, and I'm like, holy cow, this guy is spending time with me. And he's not asking anything other than about me and my family and my values and what I believe. And I was like, absolutely. He offered me the job on the spot, and he's like, go home, think about it, pray about it. And I was like, I don't need to do that.
Right.
The answer is yes. I will gladly join this team. And when I walked in, it's just like that feeling I got from Jonathan, I got from this person and this person and this person. And it's just, everybody was so genuine and authentic, and they saw the person. Mm-hmm. And that's really what pulled me in here.
Yeah.
And I started getting challenged with questions and thoughts. And, I was like, this is different.
Yeah.
It's absolutely different. David Smith was one of the first people that just challenged me. I didn't know who this man was. He walked up to me. He's like, so you ever thought about this? And I'm like, no, why not? And I was like, well, I've been here for a week.
Yeah.
I like mentally being challenged, and this place immediately started doing that.
Yeah. Do you feel like, or how do you feel like people create culture, or do you think culture creates people? How do you think that fits in together?
Well, you can't have culture without people. And I think you need a handful of like-minded people to get culture started. I've never really thought about it, but what I experienced then is what I aim to keep here every single day. And we just constantly seek people that, to me, fit the same feelings that I had 14 years ago. Mm-hmm. I think it goes both ways, but the people are the catalyst behind it.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. I have the opportunity to get to go down to Greenville every other week and get to spend time with the boys and the ladies down there. And it's just really cool. I think that was a big fear, is like, hey, we're going to start something new, and here's the plan, and try to do the best that you can to make it as successful as you can. But it's been cool to witness what it looked like probably when Dewey started his the next phase, like when Luther hands it over to him, and how to start a small business and keep the culture alive and craft what that is. And I know Dewey had a lot of experience and experiences over the years. But dang, dude, it is cool to go down there and just witness a small business where people are cheering each other on. The encouragement is high down there. Seeing, like, you may not always have a full day, but when you get a call, people are cheering you on. And I think that can be a big fear in starting something new, is like, what is the culture going to be like? We got to protect that. But that's also something that's in my mind too, as we continue to grow as an organization, is we have to absolutely protect the culture. We have to make sure that the culture stays alive. You can't let it get into where you make too many rules and then you just really bog it down.
Yeah.
What do you feel like when we look at culture? What do you feel like stands out here that maybe you didn't get when you were at other places?
The relationships. Immediately, that's what stood out, because you were one of those individuals that very early on, I'm in Tech Builder, and I'm riding with you. I remember you pulling up. It was middle of summer, and you had these red Oakleys, and I'm like, oh, he's a goofball.
I remember those.
You love those red Oakleys.
I did, and then I lost them.
But the moment you and I met, like, I was jumping in your van, and we were going to go sweating addicts together. I immediately was like, all right, this dude's cool. You welcomed me with open arms, and you were like, I'm here to help you. I'm here to challenge you. I'm not going to hold your hand. And I appreciate that. But that relationship showed up with Brett Sumter. It showed up with Nick Bailey. So to me, it's all about the relationships.
Yeah. So relationships are a big piece of culture. I know you thought about it, and I know our team has thought about it, but as we continue to grow, the people are a big piece of that. What other things do you feel like we need to protect to continue to make sure that the culture stays what it is? What do we need to continue to focus on to make sure it stays the same like the old days and the new days as we move forward?
The fundamentals. The fundamentals, if you don't know the fundamental, if you do know the fundamental, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What is that? If, whatever. How do you write that down?
I ain't writing it down.
Yeah.
I'll have to use AI.
Whatever. To me, it's the fundamentals. It's our hiring practices. We've got to be very intentional with protecting all of those things that starts when somebody shows up at our doorstep.
Yeah.
And if you have people that are just going against the grain and not fitting the culture, because people will fool you. And we've been fooled too many times where we welcome individuals in, and 3 months in, 6 months in, it's like something's a little off. Let's wait and see. Something's a little off. Let's wait and see. Usually that first let's wait and see moment pretty much predicts what 6 months, a year and a half looks like.
Right.
We've got to move a little bit quicker in those moments, because more than likely, what does Dewey say? People don't change that much. Right. They're just never really going to fit the mold. And when they don't fit the mold, we just need to let them go fit the mold somewhere else.
Yeah.
There's going to be a spot for them.
Somewhere.
MJ may not.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? You're asking me all the questions.
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think with the culture here, the people are a massive piece of it. I think you said it earlier really, really well, is how do you have a culture if you don't have the people? I think you can have cool core values on the wall. I think you can have like, this is what it should look like. But I think the rubber really meets the road when you bring all the people together, and then whoever's managing those people or whoever's guiding those people, it's like, we have to know what our standards are, and this is what it should look like as far as like a successful business. And these are, this is what we all hold true. And if we get too far off that track, we have to be bold enough to say, hey, that's not the direction that we're going to go, and we need to make an adjustment. But I think culture, it is a big piece of the people, but I also think it's what you allow. It's, this is okay, this is not okay. And I think culture shows up in a lot of places. I even think about the family, like certain behaviors that certain families have, we're like, dang. And then we've seen that at like grocery stores. You see that at restaurants. It's like, that ain't us. And it's just sometimes fun to watch. You're like, But then other times it's like, okay, well, these are what our values are. We've had different kids come over to our house for like sleepovers and whatnot in the past. And I remember coming upstairs for the first time, one of the very first ones we had. And I walked up and I was like, all right, ladies, so for the sleepover, it's good to have you guys. This is going to be a good night. Here's a couple of things. We're going to eat dinner at this time. Meredith was laughing at me when I was saying this because I totally set the agenda. Here's what we're going to do. Dinner's at this time, 10 o'clock. I'm cool if you guys want to watch a movie. Phones and any devices will be downstairs at like 10. So if you need to text your parents anything, certainly fine. And if you need to text them past that, just come downstairs. And then after 12, TV, like we're going to turn that off, but y'all can stay up as long as you want. Just use your lips. And I just remember like the girls that weren't used to being at our house were like, okay. But we've also found where we've gone other places that things like it becomes more challenging when there's no rules. But I just remember the looks on all their faces. It was like, But I think that's the whole thing with families. It's like, this is what we allow and this is what we don't allow. And I think this place and all of our places at work, it's like, these are the standards we live by.
Yep. A long time ago, Brandon told us, what's the standard?
What you allow.
It's what you allow. That's what you accept. And if somebody walks by in the office with no shoe covers, I get a bad rap because I'm constantly saying, why are your shoe covers not on? And the response, well, these are my office boots. I'm like, bro, I saw your pictures you uploaded. You got the same boots in the field.
Yeah.
And to me, it's about the behavior, right? If you're coming into our house, like the business's house, and carpet cleaning's expensive, you respect the customer's homes.
Yeah.
Let's continue that behavior here.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So it's what you accept. Your standards are what you accept.
Yeah, for sure.
I've had to, and some people are like, literally like, these are my office shoes. And we go to their van and I'm like, okay, those are your office shoes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's hard to see it and be like, I don't know.
Bert calls me the sheriff.
The sheriff.
Yeah.
We need to get you a badge.
He did.
Did he really?
In San Diego.
Stop.
Said,
Please tell me it was a little sticker.
Kegel, I got you some.
Oh my gosh.
And it's sitting on my nightstand right
Yeah.
now. It has my name on it.
He ain't right. It is hard. I never want to feel like the police telling somebody to tuck their shirt in or wear your shoe covers or whatever, but it is our standard.
Yeah.
It just kind of, those are the little things that are important. I remember when I was in the military, it was the same things. It was the small stuff. We used to always talk about like your ribbons that you had on your uniform. They had to be an eighth of an inch above the seam on your blouse, your jacket. And I remember watching a video and it was some like higher up and he's like, it's important. It has to be exactly an eighth of an inch. And then every ribbon after that has to be an eighth of an inch all the way up. I don't know about you, but taking a ruler and measuring an eighth of an inch on cloth is hard.
Yeah.
But you would measure it off. And I remember watching this video and he's like, do you know why it's an eighth of an inch? And he would ask everybody and he goes, we made it up. It's just simply because we had to make a standard and that's the standard. And so sometimes it's simple, but all of our standards we have here have purpose and it carries into so many other things. It's like when I go to wash the air conditioner, you know this, I'm taking the top off.
Take the top off.
It needs to be removed. There's a reason why we clean it from the outside in or the inside out. But if you clean it from the outside in, there are challenges that come along with that. And we are different from everybody else. There's no other company that's going to do it like us. And I think those small standards, one is easier than the other. One has a greater impact than the other. Yeah. If you cheat on certain standards, you're going to cheat on others.
For real. Yeah, for sure. We're supposed to be talking about our origin stories.
Sure.
What brought you here and what made you stay?
Yeah. I came from, I was doing drywall with my uncle.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were at Chick-fil-A.
I was before that.
Did you get fired?
True origin stories? No, I didn't get fired. True origin stories, Chick-fil-A was my first place of employment. I worked there for like 2 years. I loved that place. My manager actually, it was funny. I had a doctor's appointment. What is that? Blakeney, whatever. And there's a Chick-fil-A across the street. I went in there and I went to go get a sandwich. And I was like, I wonder if Danny's still here because he transferred stores. And sure enough, there was my old manager. I still remember him to this day. We talked for a little bit. This was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But I started there. He taught me the ropes just about being a good employee, what it looks like to take care of customers and everything like that. And I enjoyed it. When I left there, I joined the military. When I came back, I needed a job. And my uncle, he did drywall. And he's like, if you want to come do drywall with me, it's cool. You can drive the truck. And he had a brand new F550. I said, bet, I'm in.
Dang.
And so I had the challenging job of carrying 12-foot sheetrock into buildings, double strapped, like the papers on it. The thing's like 400 pounds, and you'd carry it in the building. And I would have like, hey, go pick up 75 sheets from this vendor and go drop them off. And so.
How long did you do that?
I did that for like a year and some change, maybe a year and a half. And I think it was kind of funny through that time. Like I already worked hard, but like that one, like ain't nobody helping you with that sheetrock. They're in there doing their own thing. And so I'm just carrying it inside. I'm like, yes, y'all can help me with the last row. No, keep going. You're good. And I'm like, all right. But after that, I joined the military. And when I first came back from my deployment in 2010, he was like, you can come work for me again if you want to. You're a good employee, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I think I'm going to try something else. And Mark Dellinger told me about it at church. And he's like, you can come work at Morris-Jenkins. And I said, sure. And I remember they were talking about the tech builder program. It was called Rising Star back then.
Was you in the very first class?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Me and one other fellow were in that first one.
I know who that is.
Yep. That was a good time. And we learned a lot. It was actually funny. Austin came in my office the other day and he goes, I want to check some dates. I was talking to Brandon about where Priority Advantage came from because it used to be ESA.
Yeah.
He's like, when did Rising Star start? And I'm like, well, it was 2010 because maybe they might have had somebody they trained, but me and this other fellow were the first two. And we made it through. It was rigorous, but not as rigorous as it is today. Like the way it's transformed over time, it's been a massive change. But I don't know. I really was just looking for a change. I was like, I'd worked at some retail places. I'd done Chick-fil-A, I'd done drywall, and I was like, I don't do that no more. That's tough. And I just wanted a new beginning. And honestly, when I first started, I didn't really have much of an intention to I was like, I don't know how long I'm going to be there. Most places I'd only worked like a year or two. Mm-hmm. And so that was the norm for me. And the one change I'd noticed about this place, same thing for you. It's like the culture is different. And then also I just noticed that you can grow as much as you want to grow here.
Yeah.
Most places it's like you learn the ropes. There's only so far you can go without becoming a manager, but this place continued to challenge me all the time. And I think that's what piqued my interest the most.
So going back in just my memory, 2012 is when I started. You were 2010. Mm-hmm. So we were middle of the year. I met you very early on here and I would blow you up. And I've said this so many times and you're like, it never happened.
Don't say it again.
So you were freshly into COD in 2012, if my memory serves me right.
Something like that, yeah.
2013 was that year in my memory where you just locked in and you just shot for the moon and you were an elite champion that year. What was the defining moment for you to go from like, okay, I'm going to hit champion, but now I'm really just going to be a part of the elite class? Yeah. Because it was a very quick turnaround for me. Like the calendar rolled to 2013 and you took off.
Yeah. I had a conversation with the trainer that we had. He rolled out on a call with me one time. And I was taking care of a customer and, he asked me, he said, there's two people in your group, and it wasn't the guy I started with, it was someone else. He's like, this fellow that you're kind of competing and close to, he's actually running the call. He's doing it better than you. He's more customers are more comfortable with him when he's offering things to them. He just is like blowing you out of the water, but he doesn't have more skills than you do. Mm-hmm. He has his own challenges that he's dealing with, but you're here and he's here. And I was like, dude, I don't ever want to go. I don't want to be pushy, and I won't be. I don't ever want a customer to ever have an inkling that I'm being dishonest by saying, hey, you need to fix this. Because that was always a fear of mine, is like, I know they're calling me out for maintenance, but I don't want to lean into the stigma that I'm here to make them do something that they don't need. That's a big fear. And he asked me, he's like, okay, well, let's take all that stuff off the table. If you were to run this call and there was something wrong and you didn't tell your customer about it, do you think they would be cool if the thing broke down after you left? Or do you think they would be upset with you when you came back to tell them it was broken? And I said, I think they'd be upset with me. And he says, the customer wants you. The whole point of preventive maintenance is to tell them what is going on so they can make a well-informed decision. Your only job is to educate them. Yep. That is it. And so for me, it changed my thinking. And then he asked me one more question. He says, what are you doing this for? Are you doing it for yourself or are you doing it for your family? What? And I'm like, I'm here to do it for my family. He goes, are you giving them everything you got? And I was like, okay.
So that was actually going to be my question is, we say the same thing because we still hear, well, I don't want to be this, I don't want to be pushy, whatever. And in my mind, that's not what I'm conveying or you're conveying or any of our training's conveying because it's not. It simply isn't. He made you feel it.
Yeah.
So people hear it. How do we get more people to feel it?
Yeah. That's a challenging question. I think it's subjective to the individual. Mm-hmm. I think everybody has a why.
Yeah.
You have a why.
Yeah.
You have long nights, long weekends. When the summer's hot, like I know you love your family, but it's like you going to be busy, right? Yes. Same thing with the supervisors. But I think everybody has a why. Mm-hmm. Everybody has something that they're working for that makes them get up every single day and give whatever they've got. And I think sometimes people can lose focus of what their why is for comfort. it's comfortable for me to go through the motions versus staying focused on what is my goal. So I think it's important for everyone to recognize that I got to have a why and I got to be focused on that, and I can't lose sight of it. If I do, it's very easy to get off track and then find myself in Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Or as Meredith would say, shout out Meredith, in the hamster wheel and just doing the same motions and not going anywhere. You're doing a lot of work, but you're not being productive.
Right.
So I think it's important for people to be focused on the why and figure out how is that, what is that why? How do you make it impactful for that individual? I think even for you, you're really good at pulling things out of people and helping them see that. What have you found is that switch that maybe you can talk about to get people to recognize, like, how do I turn the corner and say, okay, tomorrow's going to be different for me? What have you found?
Well, what I found is there's a whole list of people that haven't found it yet. And there's been attempts on my end, or maybe not just mine, but Matt Todd or Randy Tooker or any of the supervisors, because there's a lot of one-on-one interactions happening either in person or on the phone. I hear Evan. Evan's great at, he always says, we're not here to survive. We're here to thrive. And
Does he really?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I like that.
So I love it when he goes down that mode. But for me on that, I think it's very important to talk about my point of view, because the only thing that I can speak factually about is my story, right? And I didn't show up here and somebody say, one day you're going to be the HVAC service director. That's never happened. I showed up here I have a mortgage. I have a 1-year-old at home. I started here on the 1 week, literally 1 week before Landon turned 1. And I was like, I have no money. I'm in debt. I am putting $20 towards a credit card payment, and I'm taking that credit card to put gas in the card so I can get to Tech Builder. That was our life. My favorite meal was string cheese and a turkey sandwich, because that's all we could afford.
Right.
It sounds terrible, but
it's what you had to do.
It's reality, right? It is what it is. So my story, I share it a lot, and I'm very open and transparent about it, to where I hope somebody grabs onto it saying, some days it's going to suck, and some days you have to sacrifice more than you ever realized you had to sacrifice, and it's all worth it if you want it, right? Morris-Jenkins will change your life if you let it.
Yeah.
And to me, this place is equipped with the right people to give you the right thoughts to just push you. And I hope that's what I'm doing, one person at a time.
Yeah.
Is that answering your question?
Yeah, it is. And I even think for you, you've had a similar story, and you were a technician, and then you became a champion and were a champion. And then you hit supervision and you've continued to thrive in this place. It would seem that you've probably had multiple moments in your career here where you've continued to dial it up and say, okay, here's the next level. Here's the next level. What was the most memorable one for you?
I'll tell you where it started.
Yeah.
I graduate Tech Builder, and I'm so excited to hit the field. And I'm like, great, there's going to be more opportunity, more income. And the first 3 weeks out of Tech Builder, I was getting 18 hours, 20 hours a week, because we were in that transition period from AC season to heat season.
Yeah.
And we didn't have enough heat maintenances on the board to keep us busy. So I was like, wow, this is not good. I was calling Jonathan. I was like, dude, you need your car washed. You need the parking lot swept. I needed hours.
Yeah.
And I was chasing hours. But things shifted pretty quickly, and I had some calls under my belt. This is probably late November, early December. David Smith, I got to know David a little bit through this because he was always in the meetings, and he was just funny. He walked up to me. He says, Mark, there are people here working the same job that you're working the same hours that you're working, but they're making twice as much money as you. And I'm a little bit competitive. And that just lit a fire into me.
Mark didn't like that.
No, I did not. And what essentially happened in my brain was, I've quickly processed it. It's like, it's not how fast I change a capacitor or how well I wash a unit. It comes down to how well I'm educating the customer. And for me to educate a customer properly, I need to be the most educated. If you look at disc, my theoretical's high, so that wasn't a far reach for me just to take the competitiveness of me and the curiosity that I just naturally have, and I started seeking out books. And there was a Zig Ziglar 6-disc CD set that Nick Bailey had. And I knew he had it because I saw it in his van when I rode with him.
Yeah.
And I called him. I was like, tell me about this. And he was like, oh, it's great. And I borrowed it. And I finally fessed up to Jonathan on this.
Yeah.
Because I found out it belonged to Jonathan.
Oh.
So I would pull all 6 discs. Number 1, I put it in iTunes. I ripped it. Is that legal? I don't know. Whatever. Why
You
not?
ripped it on Napster because we're that old.
Yeah. Been there. I pulled out the 6th disc. I broke it.
What?
The disc snapped. My stomach dropped. I was like,
Oh,
oh
no.
my gosh. So I called Nick and I'm like, hey, here's what happened. I'm going to replace it. I couldn't just buy one. $68 from a Nightingale company. I had to order it.
Dang.
And I kept 5 discs and I replaced that 6th and gave it back to Nick. And I finally told Jonathan, like, maybe a year and a half ago that I was sick. I was like, I'm going to get fired. This is terrible.
I'm going to get fired. Yeah.
That was my introduction to personal development.
Yeah.
And then I became so thirsty for that because it's finally, growing up, nobody talked to me in a way for mental growth or life growth. It was, here's what you do, here's how you survive. I have phenomenal role models from when I was a kid, but personal, Zig Ziglar, just hearing him and the Be Do Have and all the lessons that he had, I'm like, is there more of this? Mm-hmm. And then Brian Tracy and jumped in, and then there was Les Brown. Those were the very early ones for me. And then I discovered Jim Rohn.
Yeah.
And the way I discovered Jim Rohn is David had a book of Jim Rohn quotes, and I just started reading it. I was like, oh my gosh, can I have this? He's like, no, you can't, because it was an autograph copy.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. So I saved some money, probably $25. Oh, to replace the CDs, it took me about a month to save that amount of money but I did it. It's whatever. So I still have that treasury of quotes by Jim Rohn, and that's where I started diving into that. And to me, it was the personal development of just constantly just listening and feeding my brain. People think it's hard to listen to the right thing, and it's not.
It's not.
I was going to the library, going through their audiobook section, and finding authors that just spoke to me. I didn't know, right? And I would check out the books, and I'd go load them into iTunes, and I had my laptop in my van, and I would listen. I talked about this on the last podcast, and I would just listen and listen and listen. And I consumed so much, but my actions were limited. Mm-hmm. So I had to shift and do a little self-assessment and listen to the same thing over and over to increase my action.
Yes.
And that's where things really started taking off for me.
Yeah.
I did not know I was going to hit champion. Jonathan Bancroft pulled me and a handful of other individuals into a room after a tech meeting. It was October 2013. He said, all of you are on the cusp of hitting champion. And my initial response was, what does that mean?
Oh.
Yeah. Shame on me, maybe, because it was there. Maybe it's not as loud as it is now or celebrated. And I was like, he's like, we're going to send you to Mexico. And I'd never been on a plane.
This is a whole new world for you, huh?
I was like, oh, I'm going.
Yeah.
What do I need to do?
Yeah.
Because I was just doing my thing.
Can I take my wife? Right?
I don't even have a passport.
Yeah.
I've never even, probably couldn't even tell you. I never even researched the passport.
Wow.
Up until that point.
Yeah.
And wow, there really is a whole new world out there.
Yeah.
And I hit it, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. And 2014 hit, and I'm like, let's do this again.
Yeah.
And it was more personal development. Wash a unit, I'm listening to something.
Yeah. it makes such a big difference. Spending a little bit of time just trying to learn something. And it is not that hard to spend some time doing it.
To me, it wasn't a little bit of time. It became very much all the time.
Yeah. Well, it can become one of those things that's obsessive. It's like, I want more. But I really like that you pointed out and showed that there's listening and absorbing, and then there's action.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say, when you learn, because it was just learning about body language, how people behave and stuff. And he says, there's knowers and good theorists, and there's practitioners. Mm-hmm. He says, I'm going to encourage you. It was a book that I was reading, and he says, I'm going to encourage you to ignore being the theorist and the knower of all this stuff and be the practitioner. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're just going to learn this stuff, I would ask that you just return the book.
No, and I still sometimes fall in that trap.
Mm-hmm. We all do. Same thing for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have, my story, that same disc set, I asked, can I have this disc set? And
so you know the one I'm talking about.
I know the very one you're talking about. It's funny, I haven't heard your variant of this story.
I broke disc number 6.
That's probably why I didn't get the disc set loaned out to me.
Yeah.
He said, buy it. And I was like, dang it. But it was the same thing. I had a challenge at the time of like, hey, can I have this? Or like, hey, this would be nice. But I didn't spend the money or the time to invest in myself. Because even when I was asking for that, I was right on the edge of like, I'm still learning new things. But at the time, I wasn't willing enough to put my energy into it just yet. But the more that I learned about, okay, if I learn to say things differently, or if I learn how to communicate better with people, that people tend to open up more. I made more friends that way. I'm not just talking about like people at work, but like it was really cool to meet customers and just make a friend. Yeah. I was just telling the plumbers today in the meeting, it's like, we're just talking about how to, show people like we are the right people to trust in their home and to work with. And I said, if you were coming in and just so focused on the plumbing and heating and air equipment, trust me, the plumbing ain't going nowhere. No. It's buried in the ground outside. It's going nowhere. The problem's not going to fix itself. That's why you're there. Just spend a little bit of time making a friend.
Yeah.
And it's not for anything else except for, I'm just genuinely here to help you and I care.
Yeah.
And I said, if you spend more time with that, you'll find that, one, you'll make more friends, but life gets a lot easier. And so Zig Ziglar, amazing. Jim Rohn, amazing. Les Brown, love that guy. Like there's so many good teachers out there, but if you've probably noticed this too, they're all saying a lot of the same stuff.
Yes.
They're just saying it in a different way. And so I think that's where transferring from being a theorist of like, I understand this stuff, to just being a practitioner. Just try something. Jim Rohn has so many different quotes. I think one of the first ones that really stood out to me, you know how he says it, be a product of your own conclusion. And we've said it on the phone plenty of times together, but that was one of the first ones that really caught my attention, because if I'm going to be a product of my own conclusion, I need to do my own research and spend the time in the thing so that I can be a good practitioner of it. But if I just do what other people say, how do I know the same conclusion they came up with is the right one, or is one that matches my particular vantage point?
Yeah.
And so I think that's also forced me to do the same thing. Like, I'm going to go buy the discs. I'm going to go spend my own money and my own time and invest in myself because it's worth it. I've invested a lot. I know you have too. I know you've paid for your own courses, your own seminars that you've gone to. You've bought your own books. I don't know how many times it's like, what are you working on right now? What are you reading? It's like, well, I'm reading this book. I don't know how many times I've ever come up to you. You're like, no, I'm not reading anything right now. You're always reading something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun, and then more times than not, 9 times out of 10, it's here's the next phase of your journey. And so I think it's important for everybody to recognize that if you want to continue to grow and level up, especially here, it's like you just got to spend a little bit of time on yourself.
Yeah, and
it's more free today than it ever has been. It's easier to access. Everything's free.
Bro, I didn't know Spotify. Like, if you pay for Spotify Premium, I don't know how much that is.
Yeah.
I'm an Apple Music fan. But Spotify's loaded with books.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, Meredith will tell you this. She'll randomly, I haven't done it in a few months, but she'll randomly walk up to her desk and there'll be a stack of books. I found them at Goodwill. And a lot of those books are in the library. So the Total Money Makeovers, Mr. Jenkins told me I found it at Goodwill.
Did you really?
I did.
Dang.
Five Dysfunctions, Patrick Lencioni, any of those books, I can go to any Goodwill right now and I can probably spend $15 and walk out with a year and a half, 2 years worth of material.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. I wish I'd have known that way back when. But I think people like you and I get excited about a book. We buy it. We gift it.
Yeah.
Most people are like, I'm not going to read that.
Right.
I don't read. I hear that too often, unfortunately. And it just finds its way at Goodwill. So
Yeah.
it's like a used car. We're absorbing
It is what it is.
the depreciation.
It is what it is. I'll take the depreciation.
Yeah.
I listened to a book on Spotify and it was like 23 hours long. I pay for the Spotify side. I haven't tried Apple. Maybe it's better.
Well, I mean, Sarah would argue, but
I'll find you later, Sarah. But I started listening to it and then I was so upset because I had like 3 hours left in the book and I'd reached my monthly limit of hours listened. And I'm like,
there's a limit
on. I guess it says for $11 more, you can upgrade and listen to the remainder. And I was like, I'll just wait till next month and finish my last 4 hours and I'll ponder on the first 22 or whatever that I've already listened to so far. But that's the other piece is you can listen or read a whole book and be like, that was a really good book. And even recommend it to somebody. I'm like, yeah, I would recommend you reading this. But how often do we find ourselves in the spot of like, that was a good book and do nothing with it?
Oh,
I've been there.
Way too guilty.
I've been there.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really cool finding the small little lessons that you can learn from a book and apply. Something that I've tried to do more and more in my classes that I teach is instead of me teaching, leaning more into the group of like every single one of you has your own vantage point and your own lessons that you've learned. Yeah. How do we solve this problem? And I throw it out there in the middle of the group. More times than not, I don't know that I've ever had a time where everybody stared at me and was like, I don't know how to fix this. There's always someone. Yeah. And I think that's what's cool is here at Morris-Jenkins, we found that in that whole room of 75 technicians, there's someone in that room that you can learn one thing from.
You can learn something from everybody.
That will completely change your life. And all it takes is a conversation. And I can guarantee you there's not a single person here that'd be like, I'm not telling you. I'm going to keep it to myself. Good luck. You're going to have to learn it like how I did. No one would ever say that.
But when I showed up, we had people like that from a technician side.
Sure.
And like, why would I tell you what works for me? And that's why I gravitated towards you, Brett, and Nick. It was y'all are an open book.
Yeah.
So let's rewind, fast forward. I don't know where we're at in the story. 2015 hit. That was career-wise, I would say the biggest year for me.
Yeah.
The biggest spark for me. I would argue that it's probably for you as well, because you became a supervisor in 2015, April 2015?
Something like that. You remember dates better than I do.
I'm just making them up.
Sure.
Mine was actually July 12th, 2015, to be exact. So we were both just very young. I'm curious, like, what was your viewpoint of me? I know my viewpoint of you, but during that, we bonded even tighter because you were running in the field with me as a supervisor. And I found my notes that you had about me when I was a tech, and I appreciate the compliments.
I don't know what I said.
Solid.
Good.
That's how it started.
Good.
I appreciate that.
Bald.
Yes, forever and always. But I felt like you and I know you and I we were shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, literally sitting beside each other.
Yeah.
And we were experiencing hyper growth, and I think the start of Brandon and what Brandon has morphed into. And, you know, I'm very thankful for him, and I know you are. But from your vantage point, what was that like for you?
I thought it was a really cool time. It was really hard.
Yes.
I do remember, I think it was probably my first week, something like that. I remember sitting at my desk at the old building, my cube, and I wasn't getting phone calls yet. I know all of our supervisors have experienced this. At least a weekend, nobody's called you yet. And you're like, this isn't too bad. I'm learning Service Titan. I'm chilling. Somebody, cool, I got a call, you know? And I remember sitting there for a few days and I'm like, I don't really have anything to do. And so I just like pulled out a manual And I remember opening a Comfort Maker book, and I'm on page 1, and I'm just reading, and Brandon comes around the corner, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm learning, Brandon, thinking that I'm cool. And he goes, "Why are you reading that?" And I'm like, "I need to know more about this stuff, so when someone calls me, I can answer it." And he says, "Put that away." He says, "You need to be out in the field, spending time with the guys. They'll call you once they know who you are, and you spend some time with them." But he's like, "That's the way you can make yourself the most valuable."
Yep.
I remember, and he said the same thing to you. The best thing you can do is go make some friends and be available. Be available when people call you. Go make friends, and then we learn later. You learn their talents, and then you can turn talent, performance, and all that. Yeah. But it was just like, go out there in the field, get out of here, and so I did. And then people started calling. But I just remember it went from like, this is cool, this is hard, but this is freaking awesome, because I got to spend time with another person that was in the same shoes, that was solid. And I got to spend time learning from somebody like Brandon. We got to spend time with him and learning from him.
We had Mike.
Randy was running around with his bald self too.
Randy would disappear for a week.
He truly would.
He was just in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember Mike would sit there. You remember this? And he'd go, and then I'm like, I don't know if that's a real one. He'd do it again. And then another one would come out, and that was the real one.
He'd be like, "Oh, that was real."
Yep.
What a great dude.
So I just remember that it was challenging, but I don't know. I want to ask you this, because I don't know that I know fully of what my answer would be either, but like, if you could go back and talk to Mark of that day, 2015, and be like, "Here's the advice I'd give you. Here's the path that I'd offer you. Like, just focus on this." Like, what would you tell that Mark, or what would you say to our supervisors today?
So the way I have Sean Greer, who's a month and a half into this, into the supervisor role. And it's just like, dude, you need to go hit the field. You need to go build relationships, which is the advice you and I got very early on. And if I could go back, I don't know if I would necessarily change anything, because there was a lot of growing pains and a lot of really good moments. I needed to make decisions faster. That was something that I was relatively weak at the moment. Some days, some decisions are drug out a little bit, but I am much quicker and much more comfortable on making big, faster, harder decisions. Back then, I'm like, what do I do with this customer that's complaining about this price? And I would hem and haw, and a lot of times it just went a direction where I should have just made that decision way sooner, and it'd have been a lot better. Right.
I think, because it's still something that I think about today is, I wish back then that it was similar. I need to move faster. But I wish that I would have trusted myself. And what I mean by that is, for a long time, it was always like, this is a behavior that I really like, or like Brandon was a phenomenal example. And just like, it was really, really cool to watch him ask us questions. I don't know how many times we walked in there and he's like, he just asked you a question. You're like, "I'm an idiot. I don't know what I was thinking," or didn't even think about that. And that was all of our teaching. It was just like, "Let me ask you this question." He would never answer your question. He would just be like, "Well, let me ask you this." And I was like, dang it. And I just remember for the longest time, it was like, if I could just do what he does, or just be that, I will be like, I got it. I would have it made. And then I learned much later in my career that I'll never be him. He'll never be me. And that I wish that I would have just trusted myself and leaned into that a lot earlier, because I would be a lot farther along, faster than I am today. But I've just learned those things later, and I'm like, dang. And that's the same stuff I tell my kids. They're like, "I wish this, wish that." I'm like, if you're not there yet, it's okay, but like, be you. Yeah. I know always people say, just be yourself, but it's true. Yeah. No one will ever be you. And I think that's a superpower if you let it be, or you can say, or you hide it in a box and say, I'm not comfortable with this.
Yeah. So 2019, I'm a year into this role. And for those of you that don't know, I stepped into the same role that Brandon had when you and I were supervisors when he moved up to COO. And he finally one day just grabbed me. He said, Mark, my feet are still in my shoes.
I remember that.
And I'm like, okay, I've had some imposter syndrome going on.
Yeah.
I'm worried too much that people are going to compare me to Brandon. And it was a very big moment in my career, and I'm very thankful for that I had a lot of grace from him and others leading up to that point. But it was finally like, bro, just go be yourself.
Yep.
And it was liberating when as soon as he said that, and I was like, I like my shoes better anyway.
Right.
So I'm going to fill my shoes, and I'm going to run, and I'm going to be the most genuine me that I can be.
Yeah.
And I hate that it took that long, but I'm glad that it took that long.
Sure.
Because to me, the lesson happened as soon as it needed to happen.
Yeah, I think we all find those moments where you look back and you can see, if I had figured this out sooner, it'd have been cool. But the soak time that we had in those particular moments in our life was necessary.
Yeah.
100% was. I remember when I first became a supervisor, Brett he actually became a supervisor just before me. I wanted to apply at the same time. I did. And he ended up getting the job. And he called me the day he got offered it and was like, hey, I just want to let you know, no hard feelings, but I just want to let you know, like, they accepted me for the supervisor job. Hope we're cool. And I remember being like, yeah, dude, congrats, man. That's exciting. And then I got off the phone with him. I'm like, fudge. I was like, I thought I had it, and I was so pumped about it. And then sad. And then I'm like, it is what it is. And then I remember much later when I finally got the role and I recognized what was entailed in it, I wasn't freaking ready.
No.
I wasn't.
No.
And what's even funny now is I recognize that most important things that we need to make decisions on in this life, you're not going to be ready for, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But those moments, sometimes you look back and you're like, okay, there's not being ready and there's like not even being close. And I wasn't even close at the time.
Yeah.
And I needed that soak time. So I think that's the blessing. It's like, as time goes on, I recognize I should have made this decision sooner. I should have or could have bought the CDs myself sooner. I could have taken a shot on myself sooner. I could have developed this part of me sooner. And where I'm at today was necessary. But that's also changed for me in the future of like, okay, I would give myself the same feedback.
Yeah.
So what's holding me back from taking that feedback now? And I think that's an important piece. At least that's an important piece for me over time is like, I need to make the decision sooner. I need to believe in myself. And I think that's what helps us grow.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. So I think we've spent about an hour now talking about our origin stories and different things like that. However, the people that are watching this, there are going to be some moments in their career that maybe some thoughts that you had or I had very early on, I know that I had, where it was like, is this right?
Yeah.
Is this the right company? Am I focused on the right thing? What was that for you, those moments where you had those conversations with yourself and that kept you pushing forward?
Yeah. That's a good question. I do remember when I was a young PA tech, there were some days, I know you had it too, where it was just very Groundhog Day-ish. And then I was like, dang, is this it?
Yeah.
And even when I became COD, because I remember even when I went to COD, I was like, oh, there's a whole other wide world. I had no idea. And then even when I was doing COD for a little bit, I found myself in that same rhythm of like, okay, well, is that what the rest of my career looks like? And if you remember, all of my jobs always had like a 2-year cycle. And I was like, well, I've learned enough. This is the end. And I think there was a couple of things that really caught my eye about this place is that when I learned that when I felt like I reached the end of the railroad track, it was because I stopped growing myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I realized this place has so much more to give if you let it.
Yes.
It's there. There's no reason for you to be bored in your job here because there is so much room to grow, but you have to seek out what is the learning moments. And sometimes it's right in front of your face and you don't even know. Yeah. For our supervisors, managers, directors out there, the growth in yourself is the person sitting in your one-on-one. It's not, I'm just sitting here and let me ask you a question and grow you. It's, I'm equally learning and growing at the same time and helping you. It's about others. So for me, it was, there's no limit to the end of that for me. I also recognize that in order for me to become the best version of myself, I need to recognize like what the future is for me. Mm-hmm. And so what's kept me around here is I can continue to grow. And then I can also pour into others. So for me, those have been the things that have kept me so interested here, because it's like, there is no limit to my growth. There's no end for me. But I think if we find ourselves, is this the right place for me? I think you have to tap back into your values. If you don't know what you value and you don't know what your why is, it's kind of hard to determine what place is the right fit for you.
Right.
So I think there's a lesson in exercise. If you want to go listen to one of our previous podcasts, just figuring out what your values are. I think that's a good starting place. And then like, if the job suits those values, then it is a good place. It's just like, well, what's the next level? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. What about you?
Oh man. I will say that I think it's naive for any of us to think that there's not going to be hard moments.
Yeah.
I've had hard moments, and I have no problem sharing this. There was a moment where I was contemplating that like Morris-Jenkins is not for me. Mm-hmm. And it was in 2012, and it was right around the time where financially we're strapped, wasn't getting a lot of hours. And then I had to put our family on insurance. And I saw the cost, and I just had an emotional response. And I went to Jonathan. I was like, Jonathan, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't afford it. And he was like, we had a very good conversation, and I was like, I'm going to go talk to Sarah. And I had a moment where I was like, I think I made a big mistake, because I can't afford to take care of my family in the current state that I'm in. And I think it was about 2 weeks later, I said, you know what? I'm not a quitter. I'm going to dig. I'm going to dig deep. Everybody else is making it work. I'm going to make it work as well. And that's when David hit me with that, people here working the same job, same hours, making twice. And I was like, it's me. It's time for me to just dig in. So when you have those hard moments, because I have hard moments today, my hard moments then are like, I'm like, that's cute. But they were big then, and they should have been, because of where my mental state was and where my growth was. So when you have those hard moments, is you have to muscle through, you have to push through, if your values line up with Morris-Jenkins and our culture, and you're bought into the fact that we are going to help you, we are going to support you, this organization is going to help you and support you, we will not let you fail, we will be here for you. But the effort that you have to match that same effort here. And I don't think when people give up too soon, it's because they're not ready to put the effort in that matches the effort that we give.
I agree.
It's just reality.
There's so many examples here of where we've gone above and beyond for our people.
Oh my gosh. People
so far above and beyond.
No idea.
I was about to say, a lot of them people don't know about.
And I'll never speak of it because
Agreed. Don't need to. But this place does a lot for people. And I think that's what people could and should recognize, is it's not just about the stuff. We're here for you, and we'll push you to wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
But it's not, I'm going to push you. It's, you've got to lead yourself, and we'll give you every bit of support that you need. I did want to ask this last question for you, Mark, because I think this, as we walk through this story and these different phases of our time here, and there's so many stories, funny ones, different ones that we haven't talked about yet. Maybe we'll have to do this again. What would you want 15 years from now for people to say about you, people that experienced you here at Morris-Jenkins?
I care. I do care. And I care for those that care. Mm. And one thing I've realized about myself is, for me to give you my all, I need effort coming from you. Mm-hmm. Like, there has to be some type of growth. Mm-hmm. I have little to no patience with people who just constantly make excuses and constantly just don't give effort. But those people can't say that I didn't care, because the effort on my end was definitely there.
Right.
And I mean what I say.
Yeah.
That, to me, if I could be remembered for that, like, no, I'm not for everybody. My personality is not for everybody, but I'm passionate. I care. and I want what's best for you. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
You know, I actually wrote this question down and I didn't think about it a whole lot.
I didn't either because you just asked me.
I know, I recognize that. You answered way better than mine. Why did I go second? What was I thinking? No, I just want people to know that, like, I was there for them when they needed me. It's nice if somebody comes to you and is like, hey, I needed help and I wasn't sure who to ask. So I feel like I could ask you. And it's like, it's a cool feeling to know that people care. And I know people do that. You know, they come in your office all the time.
I get phone calls from former employees still.
That says a lot. And so I think that would be the greatest thing for me is work aside, not heating and air, not plumbing, none of that. It's just like when I needed somebody, you were the one that was there. And I felt like I can go to you. And it's the same thing outside of work. It's exactly the same. So I think that walking out of here in the future, it's like for you and I, it's like when people know that you care, that I got your back, I think that's more than anything. And then while we're here, it's like our behaviors have to match that, and they do.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I think that would be a good end, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. Well, dude, I feel like we can talk about this stuff forever.
I feel
There's
like,
so many stories that we could share. Maybe we'll have to do like a MJ After Dark. We'll do that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there for that. We could literally go for hours.
Yeah, we could.
But Rob, I appreciate you. I've always appreciated you.
Yeah, same.
And you've been a big part of my growth, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been a big part of mine too, big dog.
Big dog.
I don't know if I'm going to finish this like Meredith does, but check us out on Apple and Spotify. This is another episode. I think we've had a good time, huh?
What'd she say? Like love, peace, chicken grease? Like,
yeah, you be her, and then I'll be me. You ready?
Appreciate y'all. Oh, that's you.
Dang it,
that's
Mark.
you.
Love, peace, and chicken grease. We'll see y'all next time.